You are listening to the Intuitive Healing Connection, where intuitive healing connects with everyday living. Hi, my name is Gina Strole, and I am your host. I am best known as the down-to-earth energy healer that doesn't sugarcoat the truth. I walk my clients through the healing process so they can find freedom from their emotional pain, heal from their past, and find peace and joy again. If you are interested in healing your emotional past, tapping into your spiritual side to receive your own answers, finding your own clarity, and discovering your own spiritual truths, then you are in the right place. I am here to lead the way and to help you discover your own intuitive healing connection. Hello, I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm excited to share today's information with you. This information that I'm going to share with you today has really come over decades of trying to figure out ways to help my clients, help myself stay in a place of peace and love and joy and playfulness, and not let everyday life drag us back down to places that we don't want to be, that helplessness, that hopelessness, that feelings of not having a choice, not being able to move, just really backed into a corner is what I like to call it. Over the course of my years of working with clients and doing my own healing work, I have realized that there are some things that we need to work on. And I have just recently started adding in some new things into my healing work that has really helped myself and my clients get better results in staying in a more positive state, in allowing themselves to not get all caught up in the day-to-day life and the day-to-day triggers, and really learning how to bring themselves back to peace, bringing myself back to peace, and really just learning to start to stay in that peaceful place instead of kind of going all over the place. So today we're going to talk about healing the nervous system and really tapping into your nervous system matters, and how you can learn to work with your nervous system instead of allowing it to work against you. I know when I first started doing healing work, I couldn't figure out why we would go have these marvelous sessions and everything was beautiful, and they would leave in such a peaceful, loving, amazing state. And then something would happen, and I would text them the next morning or call them or connect with them, because I always connect with my healing clients the next day, asking them how they're doing. And some of them would say, I don't know, I don't feel very good today. I'm anxious. I'm full of anxiety. I don't know what happened. I felt so good yesterday. And this was early on in my practice. And I realized, oh my gosh, you know what? We've got to start finding a way to bring that body back into balance and help keep it there. Because what I realized was happening was they were coming to a session and we were working out all these marvelous things, and they're leaving feeling so good about themselves and life. And they would walk out the door or leave my Zoom room and go on and do something else. And someone would say something that would trigger them up, and their body would immediately tense up and go back to that place that they've always known, which for some people it's anxiety. For some people it's helplessness and hopelessness. For some people it's just a total shutdown. They just close the door, they shut down, they don't know what to do with that information. They go internal, they start blaming themselves. Geez, if I wasn't so dumb and stupid, this is where I wouldn't be here. And so this was constantly it's going on. It happens to all of us, because we have this beautiful nervous system inside of us that we have programmed so well. And it knows that when something happens, that you are going to freeze, you're going to fight, or you're going to fly. And that's what we do. That's what we've learned to do. You've programmed yourself to know that when A happens, B has to happen. And so our bodies respond with the way that we have taught it to respond, or the way that we have been taught to respond, based on our thoughts. There's so many things that go into this: our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, the things that we tell ourselves about the situation causes us to have a reaction. So, with that in mind, we're going to talk here in a minute about the two parts of healing and how to get out of this vicious cycle, because it is kind of a vicious cycle. We seem to be stuck in it. We can feel like we're stuck in it. And I want to share with you a story, though, that just happened to me just last night, as I've been thinking a lot about these things and what's going on in my life. So just last night, I started looking online. My daughter needs to go to Texas. And so I started looking at plane tickets and what it was going to cost to get her from Utah to Texas. And so I just started looking, and I realized I wanted to go with her. And I was like, oh my gosh, how fun would that be for her and I to go spend some time alone, just in Texas? Her and I haven't ever really done that. And I just got thinking about it, and I started looking, and I started thinking about what this meant and the possibilities and what I was going to need and what I would need to book, and how much that would cost. And I immediately went from this thrilled place of, oh my gosh, that would be so much fun to spend a few days in Texas with my daughter, to sheer panic in about 30 seconds or less. And I would even say it probably kind of went into shutdown mode there for a minute. I kind of bounced all over the place. I kind of shut down. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even think about that tonight. I can't even look at that. And I just had this pit in the bottom of my stomach. Now, the healer in me knows this is a trigger. And I have learned to really ask myself and get curious. Before, I would have just shut down and I would have stayed there. I would have not understood it. I would have, oh my gosh, that's my sign. I just shouldn't go. I can't do this. It doesn't matter what's going on here. I'm not going to even push through that. And I would have just shut it down. But here's what happened instead. Because I've been doing this work for a long time, I said, wow, that was a really curious feeling that you just had, and I want to explore that. And I was tired last night. We went camping for the weekend. I didn't sleep very well. We'd been home for one night, but I needed one more night to like catch up on my sleep. And I thought, okay, you know what? We're tired tonight. In the morning, when I do my healing work and my nervous system work, I'm going to explore this. And so that's what I did. So I got up this morning, I went in, and I thought, you know what, I'm really going to sit with this morning and see what in the heck is going on. Because that was a very interesting reaction that you had to simply thinking about the possibility of spending a few days in Texas, right? Like, so this is where we start exploring ourselves, not in a judgmental way, but in a really open way of like, wow, that was interesting. What was that all about? Let's figure it out, kind of thing. So I did. So this morning I got up. I wake up every morning. I've been doing I check in with my nervous system. I do a self-assessment. I also have an app that I use to really assess where my heart rate variability is, because that's a good indicator of where our nervous system, how it's functioning and what's going on there. And so I did all that work, and then I decided to do a clearing exercise. So in this clearing exercise, you explore the emotions and the feelings that are going on with, in this case, money. Okay. So to me, it was very interesting that came up around money when I started thinking about the thought of spending this money on just myself and my daughter. That felt very weird to me. That felt overwhelming, and something definitely was triggered up in there, and I needed to figure that out. So I did. I sat with it this morning, and when I do these exercises, I just started writing out. In this case, I was typing it out, but writing out how, kind of describing what happened and what that was all about. And so I was saying things like, it was really interesting that I started thinking about the possibility of spending this money on myself and my daughter, and I went into total shutdown mode. It kind of scared me. It brought up some feelings that I didn't really understand, and where I was going with that and why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. And so as you kind of start to talk to yourself, basically, I explored that a little bit deeper. And as I am texting this out, writing, typing it out, whatever, I realize that it came down to a belief for me that I was a burden to people and that I spent too much money, I cost too much money, and that doing this extra thing would put undue pressure on other people. Now, the thing is that really isn't true. There have been situations in my past growing up where I have been told that I'm a pain in the butt, basically, like, is you're just spending too much money. And to be honest, early on in our marriage, when things were a little bit tighter, there were conversations about how much money I'm spending and what I'm doing. And but a lot of it was wrapped around kids and how much it costs to have kids and do all these things. And I had internalized these situations and made them about me. So that was very interesting. It was kind of one of those ding, ding, ding moments of like, oh my true belief system says I'm a burden to our financial life. And so by me thinking about spending money on myself in a joyful way, in a fun way, brought up those triggers, because I have no problem going and buying the things that I need. But to think about exploring the things that I want, now that's a whole different story. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. So this morning I spent some time shifting out of that. I asked myself what would be a mantra or something that I could use to shift out of that anxiety, that burden feeling, that helplessness, that hopelessness, that panic feeling. What was something that I could use? And I came up with, and I just used my intuition to do this. My wants and needs are important and they matter, and it's okay to explore those, and really giving myself permission to explore those. And then I did an exercise this morning, a breathing exercise, and I used that mantra to reaffirm that during that breathing exercise to really shift out of that. The interesting thing is this just talking through it like that, typing it out like that, brought up such a big wave of emotion. I had a moment there where it was like, oh my gosh, I realized I truly believed that I was a burden. I was a burden in my marriage. I was a burden and I realized for me, it even went back even farther than that, because I came into my marriage with baggage. I came into my marriage with a daughter, with already a burden for my husband to carry. And so all these years I realized, he hasn't done anything to make me feel that way. That was what I had told myself based on my experiences. And so it's really unpacking it, unwinding it, and seeing, where does this all come from? What have we told ourselves? What are the belief systems wrapped around that? And because of that, every time I look at doing something that's fun for me, it brings up this sense of panic and gloom and doom and just this weird in the pit of my stomach. And I've had that happen many times, and I've backed away from things because of it many times. There's been a lot of things that I haven't done because of that feeling. So to finally have that understanding was a really cool opportunity for me. And I looked at it as that. I was like, wow, thank you for that information. Thank you for allowing me to see it that way. Because when I looked at it from that point of view, it was an aha moment of like, oh, I get it. I understand. This is what's going on. And what can we do to shift out of that? Because that isn't my truth. I don't want that to be my truth. I don't want that to be part of my life. I want to know that it's okay to go do the things that I desire and I want. And if I really truly want to do it, then do it. Like, have those opportunities. And so I worked through that this morning, and you can do it too. And so let's kind of backtrack for a minute and let's talk about the two parts of healing, because it's kind of what happened here this morning. There is those two parts of healing that I believe are very critical in any healing journey. So the first part is removing all the energy blocks, working through your emotions, your beliefs, and raising your vibration. And the situation that I just described to you, that's kind of what I just did in a big nutshell. It was identifying those emotional blocks, identifying those belief systems, what's really going on here, what's triggering this, what memories are triggering that, what's coming up for you, because your body, your mind will give you all the information that you need if you're open and willing to listen to it and hear it. And so that was that part of discovering, oh my gosh, you know what? You're right. I was the mom who got pregnant early and had a baby and brought a baby into a marriage and, brought my baggage along with me and my burdens, with early married life and the expenses that go along with that. And so why would I deserve? There's some self-worth issues going on there. Why would I deserve to go and spend money on these fun things if that is indeed my truth? So you see how that works right there. It's like, wow. So after we do that, healing all of these is a big part of the journey. But an even bigger part is getting your body on board with you, because it's great to go and discover that. But if you don't do anything with that information, you're going to walk out and the next person that says something to you about, wow, you sure like to spend money, or really, did you just spend money on that? Are you kidding me? That's going to trigger you right back up. You're going to be right back in that same place, feeling that shame, feeling that sadness, feeling those low vibing things right off the bat. You're going to go right back there, because that is what your body knows. That is what you have been programmed to do, is to go to that shameful place, that darker place, that lower place. That's what your body knows. And so that's where it takes you. We always ask ourselves, why am I always full of anxiety? Why? This is what feels, believe it or not, comfortable to you. Even though that doesn't feel comfortable, that's what you know to be comfortable. And so that's where your nervous system, your body will go. Your thought processes say, when this happens, this is what I tell her to think about. Geez, you're not good enough. Geez, what a pain in the ass you are. Geez, you spend so much money. Why would you want to spend money on that again? We have this whole nice little ball wrapped up so tightly that we think it's just the way that things are, but it is not. It is the way that we have programmed ourselves to be. And the key is to learn to acknowledge it, see it for what it is, and then work to change it. It takes time every day to work to change out of this. So even as we unprogram that, all these things are based on your past reactions to all the situations that you have been through. And this is how our body has learned to react that way. This is why the nervous system has reacted that way to any situations. The whole goal of this is to start releasing those lower vibration thought processes and reactions and really step up into a joyful and more playful and easier way of being. Really stop the freeze, flight, or fight situation. And we probably, I won't say that you're ever going to stop it, but see it as it's happening, get to the root core of it and know what you could do to get yourself out of it. That's the key right there, is really knowing it, understanding it, knowing that if this happens, this is going to happen, then I need to do A, B, C, D to get myself out of that hole. And the more that you do this, it's like a muscle. The more that you exercise this, you will no longer go to these helpless lower states. You will not go as deep, not fall as low to the ground. Your body will not go to those lower. It will learn to take a step up. Maybe instead of helplessness and despair, it will now go to maybe tense, angry, and annoyed, because it doesn't need to drop down so low anymore. And then as you work with it a little more, maybe we're out of the anxious, those kind of things, but we move up into maybe more of the stillness. No matter what's going on in our life, we go to stillness. But we have to teach our body to do this. We have to teach our nervous system to do this. We have to reprogram it to go to these different areas. So hopefully that makes sense for you. It's kind of a lot of information, but hopefully I've shared that with you. The big thing is we don't want to go to shut down. What happens when someone shuts down? The doors are closed. There is no talking. There is no communication. There is no expressing feelings. That's when we have went to our shame shithole, and we will stay there to protect ourselves. And those are sad places to go. Those are when we don't want to process anything. We just shove our emotions down. This is when we shove all of that anger and all of those emotions down in the bottom of the barrel. It was interesting. I was working with a client today, and we were talking about this very thing, and she was saying how shut down her heart space is, and that she had tried to do a heart healing meditation, and she literally just couldn't do it. She couldn't step into it. She just couldn't get there. And she said, I closed my eyes and I asked for spirit to show me what was going on. And she said it was very interesting because what she saw was this beautiful, ornate sanctuary type of thing, but the gates were closed. So she has this beautiful heart space, but she has locked it in a dungeon. There's metal gates all around it. There's layers and layers and layers of protection around it because that's what she feels safe in doing. That her situations have brought her to this space where she does not feel safe in opening up to anyone or anything. And this is programming. This is how she has felt safe and secure. But the whole thing is to really get to a place where we can feel that calm, that peacefulness, that calm, that peacefulness, that quietness inside of us, where we can feel more safe and secure. And we can do that by working with our nervous system, doing our healing work, and allowing ourselves to really reprogram ourselves to bring ourselves to a better place of safety and security. So how do we get there? So daily nervous system work is how we do this. And I'm going to share with you some things that I like to do, that I have been doing, that will hopefully be very helpful for you in really getting you started in this journey of rebalancing your body and allowing your body to not feel like it has to freeze up, fly away, go somewhere else, have these out of body experiences. A lot of things too, it's worth noting here that a lot of people, in the spiritual realm, when we say we can't get grounded, this is why. It's because we are not in our body. We're not having those experiences in our body. We have ran. We are out of here. It does not feel comfortable to be in our body. So why would you stay there? Why would your soul stay there? It's running, it's fighting, it's in this constant state of panic. And so let's create a space inside of ourselves where we can find that safety and security, because that's what I want for you. That's what I want for myself. That's what I want for my clients. So let's get there. Here's some exercises to really bring your body back to peace. So you can use breathing exercises, any heart-centered exercises. Yoga is a great way to do this, focusing on your breathing again. Back to the breath is where this work really is going to be beneficial for you. So 2 exercises that I am going to share with you today that I have been using with my clients, I've been using with myself just about every day, has made a world of difference in my life. So one of them is heart-centered breathing. Okay, so if you just put your hand on your heart and you just breathe in and breathe out. These are big belly breaths. They are not this shallow shoulder breathing. These are big belly breaths. You can turn on your timer, do that for 3 minutes. Anytime during the day that you feel like things are out of control, you're having a hard time, I would highly recommend that you do this. It will just help your body, your system slow back down, bring yourself back to peace, remind yourself that you are safe and secure and everything is okay, and then you can move on. If you have something else happen, it happens again, do it again. The more that you can reinforce that stillness in there, bringing yourself back to peace, the easier this is going to get for you to do it on your own. If you think about teaching a baby to go to sleep, really putting them in a place where they can relax enough to go to sleep, this is kind of what you're doing to your body again. You're kind of giving it a different way of looking at things. When this happens, this is how I want to feel, kind of thing. Okay, so heart-centered breathing. The other thing that I love, well, I'll tell you that here in a minute. Okay, and the other breathing exercise that I use a lot of is 3 breath in, 3 breath out. And then as you do this for 3 minutes, I like to do 3 breath in 2 or 3 times, 3 breath out, and then let me explain that in a different way. I'm like, because that makes no sense. So you're breathing in for 3 seconds, letting it out for 3 seconds, doing that a few times, and then bringing in 4 breaths, 4 breaths in, 4 second breaths in, 4 out, 4 in, 4 out. Then you can do 5 in, 5 out if that feels comfortable for you. The point of it is to feel comfortable, feel relaxing, feel like you're coming to a state of peace, whatever feels comfortable for you. Again, this is belly breaths, not shallow shoulder breaths. This is where you're really bringing in that breath for the body, allowing it to nurture the body and releasing it out. Now I'll tell you my little added punch that you can add into it. In my case this morning, with how I came to my mantra of using, I believe in myself. I allow myself to, find peace in my life. Let's see, what did I use this morning as my mantra? I'm having a brain fart here because I'm doing this podcast, but my wants and needs matter, and I'm allowed to explore those. Okay. So that's what I used this morning in my breathing exercise. As I'm breathing 3 in, I'm reminding myself, you know what, my wants and my needs matter, and I'm allowed to explore that for myself. Again, my wants and needs matter, and I'm allowed to explore that for myself. So as you're bringing this nervous system back to peace, you're also reinforcing the mantra, that higher vibration thinking that you are adding in to help really solidify that, to really get yourself good and solid down in that peaceful, safe state. So hopefully that makes sense. I love using those together, any breathing exercises that you want to do. Meditation, of course, is a great way. To me, the whole point of nervous system work is focusing on the things that you want, focusing on that peace, focusing on relaxing, focusing on being in this safe state. I don't believe we need to go do hours and hours of meditation. I never have. I am not that type of person. I will never be. I don't enjoy that. I don't calm my mind down enough to go do that. To me, that's not what it's all about. It is about finding these little moments throughout the day to take big, deep breaths, to calm down, to come back into our body, and to feel like we're in this safe space. And as we bring healing and this nervous system work together, this is where I'm seeing such great results. Being able to send people home with some tangible things that they can do to help themselves calm down. I'm seeing some amazing results, getting people out of this anxiety, really calming the nervous system down, helping bodies to heal. This is one of the ways, if you've listened to my previous podcasts, I've had some definite healing, physical body stuff going on for quite some time. I am really, really focused on healing the inside of my body so that my body can do what it needs to do for me to feel good. If we are stressed out all the time, if your nervous system is in this constant state of overdrive, overwhelm, sadness, sorrow, hopelessness, backed into a corner, if your body is stressed, your physical body is stressed, I guarantee you probably have some high blood pressure, some high cholesterol, some high things going on in your body, that because it's screaming at you going, we need to do something different. We can't keep this up. The body was not meant to carry that kind of overload for such a long period of time. But as you can work with it, start to calm it down, those things will change. As you start doing your healing work, releasing the beliefs, the emotions, the thoughts, being okay to not be okay sometimes, but knowing that you can bring yourself back to this state of peace at any time is freaking amazing in your life. The health benefits, I've noticed just since starting doing this, my whole outlook has changed. The way that I look has changed. The way that I feel, the way that my body reacts has changed. So many things have changed for me, and so many things have changed for my clients. In my 6-week class that I'm teaching right now, we're talking all about the nervous system. They're learning how to do the healing work, how to do this. They're getting step by step. I'm walking them through it in every class, doing the nervous system work and then working on it during the week and adding that into their daily practice. And I know that it's going to be life-changing for them. So it'll be interesting to get that data and see how that's all working out for them. So I hope this has been helpful for you today. Do your healing work. Calm your nervous system down. I promise you, it's going to be one of the best things that you can do for yourself, for the health of yourself and your family, and for your emotional well-being and feeling good. To me, nervous system work isn't about not having issues. It's not about never having something happen or a problem arise. It's about your reaction to it, because that's what matters. Life isn't always going to be smooth sailing. But I know the thing that healing and this work has done for me is my reaction to the world around me has changed. The way that I see it has changed. My feelings around it have changed. And that's what's important. I don't want to be in reactive state all the time. Just want to be there, want to be observing, and not allow it to totally upheave my whole life. There's nothing wrong when we are going through this process. It's just like the story that I told you. There's nothing wrong with, oh, wow, that was an interesting reaction to that. We need to explore that. That is healthy. When we go, wow, Gina, that was weird. You need to get over that. That is unhealthy. That's not going to get you where you want to be. When we judge it and have that kind of reaction towards it, that is not helpful. That is more shoving, and we don't want to shove. But getting curious, why do I feel that way? Why am I thinking that way? And then doing the release work and working on your nervous system, I promise you, you're going to have phenomenal results if you will continue to do the work. So that is my message for you today. I hope this has been helpful. If any of you are struggling, you want some help to work through this, reach out to me. Let's have a session. I will walk you through it. I will help you get to the bottom of whatever it is that is going on. The cool thing about how long I've been doing this work is I have a very well-rounded, I can help you from anything from business to relationships to love to your personal life to boundaries, anything basically that you are struggling with. We can wrap this all up for you and help you understand it on a different level. So I would love to help you do that if that's something that you're interested in. I also have another 6-week class that will be coming up here at the end of November. You can sign up for that one if you want to get in on the next round of classes to really help you learn how to focus and do your work too. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you on the next podcast. Bye-bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening today. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this podcast. I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me by email at ginastrole@ginastrole.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as Gina Strole Intuitive Healing. You can also find the full podcast videos on my YouTube channel as Gina Strole Intuitive Healing. If you are interested in working with me, or you would like more information about any of the healing programs that I offer, you can find that information on my website at ginastrole.com. And of course, don't forget that sharing is caring. Share this podcast with a friend and help spread the healing energy around the world. Thank you for listening and joining me today, and I can't wait to connect up with you again.